he will be sued. And I say will be because nothing has been filed yet, by at least 120 people in the next 30.
Complaint. Diddy's attorneys are saying that NBC Universal made the assumption that their client has committed numerous heinous crimes, including serial murder, R of minors, and S trafficking.
When federal agents stormed to the towering gates of Sean Diddy Combs' multi-million-dollar estates in Los Angeles and Miami, the entertainment world, held its breath the spectacle of law enforcement vehicles lined up like chess pieces outside a sprawling mansion wasn't just another raid. It was the kind of scene that seemed plucked straight out of a movie, only this time the stakes were real. This wasn't about unpaid taxes or minor legal dispute. This was different. This was bigger. And then came the whispers about hidden tunnels weaving through the underbelly of Diddy's lavish properties, sparking a frenzy of speculation. Where did they lead? Who else had walked those secret pathways? And most chillingly, what were they hiding?
Everyone keeps saying to me, like, how did you keep, why did you keep going? Why were you there? I'm like, it literally is around me. If I don't stay at home, this is the atmosphere I'm in. Like, I have no choice.
Did's Holy Hills mansion property that exudes luxury with its European-style architectural lagoon-like pool and grottos suddenly transformed from a symbol of opulence to something much darker in the public imagination. It wasn't just the 8 bedrooms, the 11 bathrooms, or the private theater that now drew attention. It was that underwater tunnel of feature that once might have been the envy of celebrity home tours was now the subject of intense scrutiny, according to reports the tunnel shrouded in. Mystery connects the main house to the grotto, a secluded space that could easily serve purposes far beyond what any real estate brochure would suggest. The FBI wasn't just looking for evidence. They were chasing down what they believed to be the literal pathways to Diddy's alleged double life. But here's where things take an even stranger turn. Rumors began swirling that this wasn't just about one underground passage. Some claimed there were multiple tunnels extending far beyond the confines of Diddy's property. Is the most explosive allegation that one of these secret corridors might lead directly to the Harvey family mansion, tying one of Hollywood's most beloved figures, Steve Harvey, into the growing web of intrigue.
He is very, very dominant. Like, he wants to control the situation. He wants to control his inner circle. He wants to make everyone have a good time and enjoy his parties. And so, it is scary because you think, this person or possibly his social network or the people he's around could make or break your...
Now, let's be clear. Steve Harvey has built his brand on being the affable, straight-talking everyman, the kind of guy who dishes out relationship advice on morning talk shows and makes audiences laugh on game shows. His image as a family man is as polished as his iconic mustache. But silence in the face of mounting speculation can speak volumes, and Steve Harvey's silence has been deafening as the whispers grew louder. Harvey offered no comment, no denial, and no public acknowledgement of the rumors. For someone who seems to have an opinion on everything, his refusal to address the alleged tunnel connection struck many as peculiar, if not outright suspicious. The tantalizing idea of a hidden connection between Diddy and the Harveys has set the internet ablaze. Social media detectives are now dissecting every interaction between Diddy and the Harvey family, hunting for clues. Was that casual lunch in Italy where Lori Harvey and Diddy were spotted together really just innocent, or was it part of a deeper, more orchestrated relationship? And don't forget the infamous matching outfits moment in New York City, the kind of public display that felt too choreographed to brush off as coincidence. People are now asking, was Diddy's connection to the Harveys merely personal, or was it business? Or worse, was it something far more secretive?
I don't know the consequences of what that could have been. So I didn't really talk about it. I should have gone to the police. I should have said something other than to my agent. I'm just thankful that there was somebody there. There was somebody at that party who helped me, because I could have ended up in a really bad...
The FBI, meanwhile, is leaving no stone unturned, or in this case, no tunnel unexplored. Agents reportedly spent hours combing through Diddy's properties, searching for hidden compartments, documents, and any evidence that could connect the dots in their sprawling investigation. The fact that they're focusing so heavily on these tunnels suggests they know, or at least strongly suspect, something the public doesn't. And let's not overlook the sheer audacity of what these tunnels represent. We're not talking about a quirky architectural feature here. We're talking about potential escape routes, secret meeting spots, or worse, hidden stages where actions unfold far from the prying eyes of the public.
He was using allegedly these events to invite them back to these private mansion parties and hotel parties and God knows what else. But he was utilizing the branded events to be able to, get the girls to come over to his private spaces.
And yet, with every new revelation, Diddy's legal team has doubled down on their narrative of raids they insist were nothing more than an overblown display of force, a witch hunt designed to tarnish their client's reputation. They've dismissed the tunnels as nothing more than extravagant features of a home owned by a man who has always lived life on a grand scale. But the public isn't buying it. You don't dig tunnels like these for convenience, you dig them for secrecy. What makes this even more unsettling is the timing the FBI's raids come just months before Diddy's court case is set to begin, a case already poised to be one of the most high-profile legal battles in recent memory. The charges against him, ranging from racketeering to allegations, they're almost too sordid to repeat, have cast a long shadow over his once untouchable empire. And now with these tunnels in the mix, the stakes have been raised exponentially. If these pathways connect Diddy not just to other properties, but to other people, the implications could be catastrophic, not just for him, but for anyone else who might be implicated.
It sounded crazy. Like I said before, they said that 2,300 people reached out to the law firm. And out of the 2,300 people, I guess they decided to go with just a little over 100, which seems like it's, they just put out the number and everybody's calling to see if they can get a check.
It's insane.
Mm-hmm.
It's insane. Now, again, he did say that nothing has been filed yet because he says he wants to make sure that they do their due diligence and get this right.
The Harveys, for their part, continue to maintain an air of business. As usual, Lori Harvey, the stepdaughter, whose rumor romance with Diddy first raised eyebrows, has been seen jet-setting and attending glamorous events seemingly unfazed by the storm brewing around her. Steve Harvey, he's been busy promoting his latest projects, keeping his focus squarely on his career. But the public isn't so easily distracted. Every move the Harveys make is now being scrutinized for hidden meanings, every word dissected for potential double entendres. It's as though the entire family is walking a tightrope, knowing one misstep could send them plummeting into the scandal they're so desperately trying to avoid. But perhaps the most chilling aspect of all this is how little we still know. The FBI has been tight-lipped about what they've found so far, and Diddy's team is working overtime to control the narrative, yet the questions keep piling up. Why were these tunnels built in the first place? What if anything do they connect outside the property? And most importantly, who else knew about them? As the investigation continues to unfold, one thing is clear. This is no ordinary celebrity scandal. This is a labyrinth of secrets, lies, and connections that seem to stretch far beyond Diddy's mansions. And if the tunnels are any indication, we've only just begun to scratch the surface.
With the decision, I'm surprised that Judge Subramanian entertained it. He held a 2-hour hearing, which we were covering live, and he issued a 5-page written order. Most other judges, including the 2 previous judges, to consider this issue, summarily denied the bail motion. I think a lot of it stems from Judge Subramanian being a newer judge. This is a Biden appointment.
And yet the deeper you dig into Diddy's tangled web, the more the scale of his alleged actions comes into focus. And not in a way anyone expected. This wasn't just about tunnels anymore. This would start to feel like a network of power influence. And the allegations hold any truth dark indulgences that could implicate some of the biggest names in entertainment. The connections, the whispers, the lawsuits, they all seem to point to one terrifying possibility. Diddy's carefully curated empire may have been constructed on secrets so scandalous they're almost impossible to believe. But here's the thing: impossible doesn't mean untrue. Take, for example, a lawsuit filed by Joseph Monero, an unassuming man whose life was allegedly upended by one night inside a world he could never have imagined. Manzaro claimed he had been invited to what he thought was a high-profile party, only to find himself trapped in a nightmare scenario orchestrated by Diddy himself. According to court documents, he woke up disoriented, wearing an outfit that could only be described as humiliating, surrounded by people he recognized, celebrities, athletes, icons, who allegedly did nothing to intervene. The details alone are almost too grotesque to process. But what really sends a chill down the spine is the alleged involvement of A-list spectators. These weren't just random attendees. This was the creme de la creme of Hollywood people with reputations to protect, who Manzaro claimed stood by and watched.
Illustrating is this completely out of control party on a super yacht, including various celebrities, that when you read it, it kind of rings true. I mean, when you read it, it doesn't come off as being something that's completely unbelievable. You have to take into consideration that
And the details don't stop there. According to the lawsuit, Manzaro vividly recalls that the party wasn't just some wild gathering, it felt orchestrated, almost like performance. He described being paraded through a series of rooms, each one more surreal than the last. Some rooms, he alleges, were filled with luxury furniture and ambient lighting designed to feel opulent, while others were far more ominous, with strange props and masked individuals, whose identities remain unknown. Most disturbing element, Monero claims that Diddy himself was allegedly overseeing much of it, casually giving instructions, as though this was nothing out of the ordinary. Whether these allegations hold up in court or not, the imagery alone has left a lasting scar on public perception.
There is so many people involved in this situation that works the machine here, that, you know, Diddy's obviously the head of the whole situation. You know, the king of parties, but there is multiple other people involved that are helping along the situation, or, you know, participating in some.
Adding fuel to the fire, the lawsuit also details a chilling experience where Manzaro was allegedly confronted by one of Diddy's associates, who threatened him in no uncertain terms not to speak about what you saw here this moment. According to filing, solidified Manzaro's fear that whatever he had stumbled into wasn't just a one-off event. It was part of something far more organized. The associate allegedly hinted at a long-standing system of secrecy, warning that breaking the unspoken code would have serious consequences. If true, this raises the stakes considerably, suggesting this wasn't about one man's actions, but potentially a network of people working together to protect a shared interest. Perhaps the most striking claim in the lawsuit is the alleged existence of recordings. Manzaro asserts that he saw hidden cameras installed in various rooms, discreetly capturing everything that unfolded. This aligns disturbingly well with earlier allegations made by Rodney Lil Rod Jones, who claimed Diddy's properties were rigged with surveillance equipment designed to record guests without their consent. If these cameras truly exist, and if the footage is found, it could become the most damning piece of evidence. Yet, such recordings wouldn't just implicate Diddy. They could expose anyone who ever attended these so-called gatherings, dragging them into the same legal and moral quagmire. The implications of this are staggering and could ripple through the industry for years to come.
It was always going to be a tough argument for the government, because obviously Combs voluntarily came to New York. He surrendered his passports through his lawyer. He could have fled after the March raids of his Miami and Los Angeles homes, but he didn't. He has access to 2 private jets. I think it was a tougher argument. I know the government made the argument, but clearly the best argument was the dangerousness and the witness tampering. They had much more.
Among the names dragged into this legal quagmire were Jay-Z and Beyonce, 2 of the most untouchable figures in the entertainment world, who, according to Manzaro's allegations, were present during the events. He described a lawsuit, didn't accuse them of participating, but the implication was clear. They were allegedly in a room, and while their representatives have vehemently denied these claims, calling them baseless and demonstrably false, the damage was done. The mere suggestion that such high-profile individuals could have been in proximity to the alleged horrors sent shockwaves through the industry. If these claims are even partially true, what does it say about the culture of silence that allowed them to happen? And if they're false, why do they feel so plausible to so many?
Evidence about the Muslims have it. I mean, what are you doing? You think I did this stuff, and there's no evidence whatsoever. You're out of your mind. You're crazy. There's no evidence of this. Now, his attorneys argue that the documentary maliciously portrays him as a monster and draws unfounded comparisons, they allege, to Jeffrey Epstein. Now, the lawsuit.
But Jay-Z and Beyonce weren't the only ones caught in the crossfire. LeBron James, the basketball superstar, whose squeaky clean image has made him a global icon, was also named in a lawsuit. According to filings, Manzaro alleges that LeBron, clad in nothing but a towel and shower shoes, made a cryptic comment as the chaos unfolded, suggesting that he was aware of what was happening, but chose to remain uninvolved. LeBron's representatives were swift to refute the allegations, pointing to his meticulously documented schedule that placed him on the basketball court in another state at the time. But the narrative had already spiraled out of control. Social media exploded with speculation, memes, and conspiracy theories as fans and critics alike try to reconcile the wholesome image of King James with the lurid accusations swirling around him. And then there's Cassie Ventura, the singer and model who had once been the crown jewel of Diddy's Bad Boy records, had become one of the most outspoken voices against him. Her lawsuit, which was shockingly settled just one day after it was filed, painted a harrowing picture of control and manipulation over more than a decade. While the settlement's details remain confidential, the timing raised eyebrows as a strategic move to silence her, Or was she simply seeking closure? Either way, her allegations opened the floodgates. Suddenly, more individuals emboldened by her bravery started coming forward with their own stories, each one more damning than the last.
Now, this particular defense attorney's reason for quitting wasn't really a reason at all, making his departure a lot more prevalent.
Behind the scenes, Diddy's relationships with other celebrities have reportedly begun to fracture. Jamie Foxx, once a close friend and collaborator, has been uncharacteristically quiet about the controversy despite multiple old interviews surfacing in which he alluded to Diddy's so-called wild parties. Fox's silence has only fueled speculation, with many wondering if he's distancing himself out of self-preservation or if he knows more than he's letting on. Even 50 Cent, who has long been one of Diddy's most vocal critics, seems to have taken his trolling to new heights, posting cryptic messages on social media that many interpret as thinly veiled references to the unfolding scandal.
It could be a disagreement regarding defense strategy. It could be a conflict. It could be a health issue. It really could be anything. And the paperwork doesn't identify it, nor should it. And the fact that Mark Agnifilo is still on the case and the other counsel of record leads me to believe that the judge is going to rubber stamp this motion.
And let's not forget the fallout in the business world. Diddy's partnerships, once rock solid and lucrative, are crumbling faster than anyone could have predicted. Diageo, the beverage giant behind Ciroc, severed ties with him last year, citing unresolvable differences. But in light of the current allegations, that decision now seems less about business strategy and more about damage control. Other brands have quietly followed suit, removing his name and likeness from their campaigns as they scramble to avoid being caught in the crossfire. Even Revolt, the media company he founded and has proudly championed for years, has reportedly seen a wave of staff departures, with insiders claiming the atmosphere has become toxic amid the mounting legal troubles. But here's where things get even murkier. Rodney Lil Rod Jones, producer, who worked closely with Diddy for years, has filed his own lawsuit alleging that he was coerced into covering up activities that could ruin not just Diddy's career, but the reputations of countless others. Jones claims he has hundreds of hours of footage documenting what he describes as illegal and immoral behavior at Diddy's infamous parties. If this footage exists, and if it ever sees the light of day, it could be the final nail in the coffin, not just for Diddy, but for an entire ecosystem of enablers who have allegedly thrived in his shadow.
Well, first of all, I can only imagine how sloppy Sean Combs was with evidence when he got busted with those 2 machine guns or 3 machine guns with the altered serial numbers. So I really don't trust Sean Combs or the people around him's ability to properly cover up anything. So I envision that you're going to see a trial, payments from his Amex for flights for people, straight payments directly from his company to people.
And if you think this is just about Diddy, think again. The allegations have sparked a broader conversation about the culture of complicity that permeates the entertainment industry. How many people knew, how many looked the other way, and how many are still staying silent, hoping the storm will pass? These are questions that go far beyond one man. They strike at the heart of an industry that has long been accused of protecting its own at all costs. So where does this leave us? Is this the beginning of the end for Diddy, or just another chapter in a saga that seems to defy resolution? And what about the others whose names have been dragged into this mess? Are they victims of false allegations, or are they simply the tip of the iceberg? One thing's for sure, this story isn't going away anytime soon. But what do you think? Are we witnessing the unraveling of one of the entertainment industry's most powerful figures, or is this all just smoke without fire? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And as always, stay tuned, because if you think this is as wild as it gets, trust us, you haven't seen anything